Chante avec moi, je veux une femme like you.
Hello, my name is Rebecca. Welcome to my channel, Belle La Vie. This video is dedicated to my protective style girlies. If you wear your hair in braided protective styles and you want the most effective way to wash and maintain your braids, come on in. If you are a girly that happens to have any type of dry scalp condition like seborrheic dermatitis, dandruff, or psoriasis of the scalp, this is a safe space, sis. Come on in. Grab a seat. I'm going to go ahead and show you how to effectively cleanse your scalp, wash your braids, whether it's in plaits or cornrows, and get it looking brand new again. Stay tuned. Okay, we're gonna get right into it. Now, if you do have any type of scalp condition, most likely you have been using a medicated shampoo or a shampoo prescribed by a doctor. I happen to use this. I have seborrheic dermatitis. Trigger warning here, okay? If you find this to be yucky, you might as well just walk out now. So my seborrheic dermatitis is concentrated in this part of my scalp. It's flaky, it's dry, it's scaly. If I try to kind of like scratch off or lift off the scales, all I'm gonna do is break skin and I'm gonna draw blood. I can't just comb this out or comb this away. This is an inflammatory skin condition. It's caused by an excessive growth of yeast on the skin. It's something that I have had since childhood. I've been through enough dermatologists and enough treatments, and this has been the most effective for me, just using plain old Tarte shampoo. Now the first step is to get yourself a spray bottle or a nozzle tip bottle. You're gonna go ahead and take your shampoo, you're gonna put that in, add some water. Listen, pour as the ancestors guide you, okay? The objective is to make sure that it has low suds. This is gonna make it easy and effective to cleanse, but easy to also rinse off and out of your hair so it doesn't get stuck or you don't have buildup of shampoo on your braids, okay? So as you can see here, I added the shampoo and I added some water. Now, we're not gonna shake vigorously because you're just gonna get a lot of suds foaming. So just lightly, gently combine. So the shampoo typically comes with this consistency. So it's a little thick and rich. If I have a really bad flare up, I'll just take a little bit and dab it and concentrate it in the areas that are really angry. But for the most part, I'll put the product in here. So you see how dark it is here? You want it to just be a little lighter here and very low suds. If you find that it's foaming up too much, you can always add more water, or if you filled your bottle up to the top, you can toss out a little bit and then just add water to compensate. But this is more or less like how I like to keep it. I've tried different formulations and different mixes and blends, and I find that this works the best for me. Again, you can put this into a spray bottle, or you can use a nozzle tip bottle and just go ahead and apply it this way. So now what you're gonna go ahead and do is spray this into the parts and rub it in, okay? And because it also affects like the front of my hairline here, I'm gonna take the concentrated amount and just kind of dab that in to the front there. That's where it gets really yucky. So I do put some concentrated right here. This is my trouble zone, as well as a few patches scattered around my scalp, but this is the most problematic for me. Now, if you don't have any type of scalp or skin condition, use your shampoo per usual and do the same thing into your nozzle tip or into your spray bottle. Just make a diluted formula of your shampoo. If you happen to use a sulfate-free shampoo, then you don't have to worry about this. It either creates no suds or very low suds already. I still recommend putting it into a spray bottle directly, just concentrated, no water added, or into your nozzle tip, just so that you can have a concentrated application onto the scalp. The objective is to make sure your scalp is clean. That's where the buildup is, that's where the gunk is. So even if you don't have a scalp condition, most likely your braider use braid gel, edge control, and that's gonna also help to lift off and get rid of that residue as well. So we're gonna proceed and put this all over the scalp. Because this is a treatment shampoo, I have to leave this on for a few minutes. So I typically spray this all over my scalp, then I wait about 10-15 minutes, and then I proceed to wash. Now, I have a couple of alternatives for the girlies who may not want to get their hair soaked. You might have spent a lot of money on your braids. You spent X amount of hours sitting in a chair getting them braided, and you are worried about roughing it up. I have something that I use. This would be the last alternative, the last suggestion that I can actually make. You can actually use a refresher gel cleanser. They have several of these on the market. They're sold at your local beauty supply store. I know Walmart has them. You can find them at most pharmacies as well. It comes in a gel formula, and you'll go ahead and you'll apply that into the part and then rub it in. So it already comes with a nozzle tip, so you can actually just go in and apply the gel and then rub it into your scalp. That's gonna help to lift off any type of residue you may have. It helps to refreshen your scalp. I have this honestly because I do work out up to about 3 times a week, so I use this sometime in the middle of the week just to refreshen. A lot of these products tend to have mint, rosemary, something to help the scalp feel fresh and smell pleasant as well. So this is an alternative if you are refusing to wash your hair and you don't want to rough up your braids. Then I would suggest that you in some way or form cleanse it. You can do this and rub it in with your fingers. I like to actually go in with a microfiber towel because it has a little bit of a rougher texture than my fingers would. And I'll go ahead and rub that in gently into the area and just kind of like concentrate it like this and don't rough it up way too much. If you are a girly who does have skin conditions and you do want to be in protective styles, I would say be mindful of the type of styles you get and the size of the braids you get. If you know you have a scalp condition and it requires you to treat your scalp and wash your scalp on a regular basis, I would recommend not going for jumbo-sized braids unless you're going to leave them in for a week. If you're going to be in braided styles, whether it be cornrow or plaits, the knotless braids, whatever you want, or faux locks, I recommend going with the smallest size that you can tolerate and that you can sit long enough for. That helps to have you maintain the hairstyle a little bit longer than you normally would, and it helps to reduce the amount of frizz that you might actually get. I am actually Tex-Lax, so I don't concern myself too much with frizz or hair coming out of the braid. If you are natural, I would definitely recommend going with the smaller size braid. Again, this is an alternative wash if you are completely against getting your hair wet while it's in braids, but I would definitely recommend going in with a smaller braiding style or braiding pattern. Same thing with cornrows, go a little bit smaller, medium to small. And if you do happen to have any frizz, flyaways, or hair coming out of the braid, you can always rectify that by using a little bit of braid gel along the braid after your hair dries, or a little bit of edge control. There's always ways to repair your hair. And if it isn't too terrible, you might be able to get away with it even if it's just minimal frizz. It's definitely up to you to decide what protective style is best for you and best for your needs.
All right, so now we're getting into the demo part of the video. You want to go ahead and saturate your hair thoroughly with water. I use what we have here is a lip scrubber. It actually has silicone roughened tips, and I go ahead and rub that into my scalp. Not only does it feel amazing, it does a really good job at cleansing my scalp. An alternative would be to use a washcloth. I have microfiber washcloths that I use, and you can go ahead and rub that into the scalp as well. I shampoo a few times. When I'm done doing that, I go in with conditioner. I use the Aussie 3-Minute Miracle Moist. I go ahead and just dab that right into my scalp. I get it right into the parts in between all of the parts, and then I also rake that through the length of the braids. I let that conditioner sit for a bit, and I go ahead and continue with my shower routine while that conditioner is sitting. All right, when we're done with that, we're ready to rinse off the conditioner. You want to make sure you rinse out thoroughly. You do not want any residue. This can further irritate your scalp if you leave any shampoo or conditioner residue behind. So take your time to get in between the parts, get around your hairline, and rinse well. When we're ready to dry, I wring out all that water and I go in with a couple of things. I use this, it's actually a kind of like a t-shirt cotton material that I use, but it really does well at absorbing the hair. I got this hack when I was natural to use a plain t-shirt, but I happened to get this from Goody. Goody had a collaboration with Black creators, so I ended up getting this cute little head wrap drying towel thing. And then I also couple that with a microfiber hair towel as well. I go ahead and scoop that into the back, and then I tie that and clip it, secure it with a hair clip. Now is the time to dry the hair. I use a bonnet dryer. You can also use a hooded dryer. If you prefer to air dry, you can air dry, but I still recommend after you have completely air dried your hair throughout the day to still apply concentrated heat onto the hair to make sure your roots are completely dry. We want nothing left behind, no moisture left behind, okay? You want to go ahead, you can use a blow dryer to do that, or you can use a bonnet dryer or a hooded dryer. I dab off the excess water before I go in. I make sure to put this bonnet dryer onto my scalp first. I dedicate it just to drying my scalp for 45 minutes to an hour. I also do rotate the bonnet dryer because even though it fills the entire bonnet with heat, there is a hose back there, and I make sure that I apply it to different parts of my scalp so that it's concentrated in that area as well. Now, you don't have to get bored here. I use this time to watch movies. I put my earbuds in, I watch videos, I'll read, I'll brainstorm, whatever it is I gotta do. That's what I use this time for. Now we're gonna go ahead and dry the ends of the hair. So I go ahead and do a ghetto-fied wrap, and I go ahead and scoop that in, and I make sure that I dry the length of the braid as well as the ends of the braid. So we do this for about another 45 minutes to an hour. So I wanna say the total time is probably about an hour and a half to up to 2 hours of drying time. I have time, you know what I'm saying? Like, I make sure I do it on a day where I know I'm able to dedicate washing and drying my hair. So I give myself 3 to 4 hours for this entire process. If you don't have this time, again, you can air dry, but when you get back home and you're done with your day, still give yourself 15-20 minutes to letting your hair dry with direct heat. As you can see, my scalp is clean and we're ready to go.
Our hair is completely dry. Again, I like to let that go, like I said, for about an hour and a half up to 2 hours. You want to ensure that your hair is thoroughly dry. There's no sense in cleansing your hair only for it to not dry properly and then it smells like mildew. You don't want it to smell like corn chips, okay? We're not gonna go through all of this just for you not to let this hair dry, okay? Now, when it comes to regular maintenance throughout the week, what I do to moisturize, you can use a dedicated braid spray or a braid sheen spray. They sell this all over. You can do that. I personally like to make my own concoction. What I do in a little bottle, spray bottle, I put a leave-in conditioner, a spray on, a liquid one. I use Infusium 23, so I go ahead and fill that up about 3/4 of the way. I put distilled water and then I also add pure glycerin. So every time I use it, I just shake it up and I just lightly mist my hair. I like the mist on this one because it's really, really faint, so it doesn't overly saturate my braids in between washes. So I just go ahead and I spray that in. And then I just kind of rub that in and just use it along the length of the braid as well. And that helps to keep my hair strengthened because it does have protein and some other properties that help to nourish the hair. The glycerin works as a humectant, so that helps to draw moisture into the hair. And then I just add distilled water. I would suggest any type of these concoctions, use distilled water over your tap water if you want to keep this a little bit longer. The shelf life will be a bit longer if you use distilled water versus tap water. Now, I am not a baby hair girly, okay? I don't do adult swoops, I don't do the swirls. First of all, they don't last long on me. Even though I'm Texlax, I'm still 4C. 4Z if we really want to talk about it, okay? So it doesn't matter how much I tie with a scarf. By the time I walk out the house, the humidity hits and I did all that for nothing. So I just use the edge control to neaten up the braids. I like my braids to look neat and just well put together. I don't need swoops. I deliberately don't leave a lot of hair out for that reason. So anytime the girls are like, oh, baby hairs, I say, baby, you can go ahead and scoop that into the braid, okay? I let my braiders know I don't do baby hairs. A lot of them are insistent. I know they want the looks, the aesthetics, I get it, but I find that your hairstyle does not last as long, or it doesn't look good as long as you think it would, you know? So what I do is I just apply, I take the smallest amount. I swear, I am so conservative when it comes to this edge control because I don't like the additional buildup as well. So what I'll do is, I'm looking in the mirror, but I will, okay, let's use this section. I'll go ahead and I'll apply it, right? Then I'll comb it into the braid. Comb it into the braid. And then brush it in. Okay? So it's literally, and then if you want to go ahead and swoop-de-doo that, then you can go ahead and do that. If you want to swirl it up, you can swirl it up. But the objective is just to tuck the hair back into the braid it came out from. So I would do the same thing for the rest of these here, and I'll just go along the perimeter. If you tie your hair up and you style it up while it's in braids, go ahead and get the kitchen as well and put the edge control and scoop that in back into the braid. So again, that's just what I do. Then from there, I will, I'll go ahead and tie down, put a scarf on, and leave that on. I would just suggest doing it overnight and then you're ready to go. So that's pretty much my maintenance. After that, I don't go back in with the edge control. Unless I'm planning on going out, I'm getting dolled up, I'm putting makeup on, and I want to look well put together, I'll go ahead and retouch. But for the most part, I don't go back in with this until I'm ready to wash again the next week. Again, continue to moisturize while your hair is in braids. The whole point of a protective style is that your hands are not in your hair, manipulating your hair, but you want to continue to keep your hair moisturized. You can use whatever technique you want to use, but like I said, I do my own mixes and this works well for me. It keeps my hair hydrated and it doesn't weigh my hair down and it doesn't add any buildup. That's why I like to use a liquid leave-in conditioner. I hope this was informative for you. If you have any of your own tips on how to maintain your braids, and this also goes for my girlies who do sew-ins. If you do sew-ins, it may be a little bit trickier to get to the braids if you put them on nets. I used to do a lot of sew-ins with the net. I love that technique. Your sew-ins last much longer putting it on a net, and it does help to protect the hair better, but it does make it difficult to wash, especially with the condition that I have. It wasn't easy. So I would go in with the nozzle tip and do the super diluted shampoo. I would even dilute the conditioner because I didn't want any buildup underneath the braids. Now, if you're going to do the same thing for your sew-ins, you want to be mindful of ensuring that whatever products you use for your scalp is going to be safe for the actual hair that you use. If you have good old virgin hair, it might be able to take to some products, but if you have hair that had been previously dyed by your hairstylist or you dyed it, you might want to be mindful of using the correct products so that you don't mess up your hair just in pursuit of just cleansing your scalp. That makes no sense. Now you're really destroying your style. So definitely be mindful of the products you choose to use if you do have a sew-in and you're using bundles, all right? So I hope this was informative for you. Please come back. I've got plenty of tips and tricks and all of the things, okay? I am a recovering product junkie who's practically relapsed. So here we are. I'll try them so that you don't have to. And I'll give you my raw, honest review. Now, everything is subjective. You do what works well for you, but I will give it to you straight, no chaser. Come back now. Bye.